All right, Khan, Shalom, Israel, Shalom to the 12 tribes, Yasha Allah, giving of course, all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shah. That's all praises, honor, glorification unto the Most High God, Yahweh, in the name of His only God and Son, Yahweh Shah. This is brother Yasha Allah.
Brother, you want it then?
Khan coming back to y'all with yet another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Hamashiach, on Allah, Yahweh Shah. All right. Um, Shabbat Shalom to the 12 that scattered abroad. Another day of praying, another day of laboring for the Most High God, and another day of resting through the Spirit, another day of congregating with like-minded individuals in this truth. So all praises to the Most High. All right. So without further ado, we're going to go straight into this video, straight into this topic. Salakia for the lateness. You know, we had technical difficulties and Satan trying to, hinder the word. But hey, all praises to the Most High. It's going out. All right, it's going out. So as you can see from this video, we're again attacking Christianity. We've been, attacking Christianity in the previous lives, and so this live as well is going to be another attack, but from a different angle. All right, it's not necessarily about doctrine, but it's about the aspects of the church, about Christianity, the Christian church as it's known today. So as you can see from this video, it's going into what, or it's like the title is going into what? More is not always better. Christianity, we need answers. All right, so we need some answers about this. And what do we mean by more is not always better? Just because you might have, let's say, in a certain congregation, somebody might have 1 million members in their congregation, where nationwide, for example, 1 million people in their whole congregation. Does that mean that the Lord is really with you? Just because you have all these heads, all these bodies in your congregation, does not mean that the Most High is actually for you and that the Most High is actually with you. More does not always mean better. And we're going to go through the Bible and show you that via the scriptures. That more is not always righteousness. Is not always equated to righteousness. So without further ado, okay, I just want to get the stats, right? The stats. Let's see how many Christians there are in the world today, right? Because y'all, I mean, we see Christians everywhere, right? But let's just see what the stats say about how many Christians are actually in the world. So this is from Wikipedia, but it says Christianity by country. All right, Salakia. It says as of the year 2023, Christianity had approximately 2.6 billion adherents and is the largest religion by population, respectively. So it's larger than Islam, right? It's the largest religion by population, respectively. So it says what Christians made up to 2.6 billion of the worldwide population of about 8 billion people. It represents nearly 1/3 of the world's population and is the largest religion in the world, with the three largest groups of Christians being the Catholic Church, Protestantism, and the Eastern Orthodox Church. So we see here how many people are Christians in the world that claim to follow the religion called Christianity. Okay, 2.6 billion people. That's 1/3 of the whole world's population, apparently. So, I mean, what are we to say to this? Is 1.3? I mean, it's like 2.3 billion people. Is that a lot of people? Is that safe to say that's a lot of people, Yowanathan? Let's ask the brother Yowanathan. Is that safe to say that 2.6 billion people is a lot of people?
Hey, Khan.
Hey, Khan, right? I think everybody would say that 2.6 billion people, right, is that's a lot of people right there. Okay, even when you go to a concert, for example, a concert might hold how many people? Let's just say, I don't even know, a couple thousand, let's say,
Yes,
right? A
Khan.
couple thousand people. You might pop up to that concert, you're like, damn, the whole world's here. You know what I'm saying? The whole world is here. It's like people bumping into each other. Hey, take for example the Travis Scott concert. That was
Khan.
about a couple of people, and people got trampled, people got stomped, people got, what I'm saying, people couldn't breathe, they suffocated. People died in that concert because it was just overcrowded, right? That's just a couple thousand people. That's not 2.6 billion amount of people, right? That's not that wasn't even 1 million people, in that concert, but they still died, right? So 2.6 billion people, that is a hell of a lot of people, man. All right. And so Christianity, like the article says, is the largest religion by population. It's bigger than Islam. It's bigger than Hinduism. It's bigger than Buddhism, right? Buddhism, as some brothers say. It's
Uh,
bigger than any religion in the world. Christianity, right? Okay, so first we have to understand that. We have to understand that first. And so when a lot of Christians, in their mind, they might think that, okay, look at how many people we have baptized, right, in Jesus Christ's name. Look at our church. Look at the Catholic Church. Look at how many Catholics there are in the world. Our religion is the truth. You know what I'm saying? This is what they are thinking in their mind, right? Look at our Christianity is dominating the earth. All praises to Jesus, right? All praises to Jesus, man. That's what they're saying in their mind, you know. But does the Bible say, or does the Bible have that way of thinking that just because you have all these members in your church, all these people with you, that God must be with you because you have what? A lot of numbers. No, that's not always the case. We're going to see that via the scriptures. All right. So I want to kick it off with Matthew 7 and verse 13 real quick, right? Let's go to Matthew 7 and 13 through the Spirit.
come
All right. Let's go to Matthew 7 and verse 13. Let's go straight to the words of Hamashiach Yahweh, all right, who the world calls Christ. And let's see
come.
what he has to say about this.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 7, and verse 13.
Uh-huh.
Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction,
Right.
and many there be which go in thereat.
And many there be which go in thereat. The Lord said, wide is the gate and broad is the way that leads to destruction. Meaning that there's two ways you can go down. You can go down the narrow gate or you can go down the wide gate. The wide gate, the Lord, first of all, the Lord said, enter ye in at the straight gate. Go through the straight gate. He's telling you what gate to go. All right, the narrow versus the wide. But he's saying wide is the gate, broad is the way that leads to destruction. So Christianity, you guys are on the path to destruction. All right. It says, and many there be which go in thereat. There's a lot of people on this easy path, this broad, right? If you're on the highway, brothers have been on the highway before. Brothers have been on the freeway before. And you might be cruising down the freeway. It's not a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? It might be sun might be going down, you chilling there, you just cruising on the highway doing 60, 65, right? There's not a lot of people on the highway. So it's an easier drive. The ground is smooth. It's an easier drive. You got a few cars here and there, right? It's less threat. It's not that big of a deal. But when you're in traffic, you know what I'm saying? It's straight. You're in traffic. I know brothers trying to get out of Mexico, right? Trying to get out of Mexico when you go through that border. It's straight. You're in the damn heat for about 3-4 hours trying to get back into America. Brothers have gone through that. So that's the straight way. For example, nobody wants to go through that. Nobody wants to go through the 3 to 4 hours of just being in that traffic and it's straight, people honking their horns. You know what I'm saying? It's stressful. It's a hard way to go through. But that's that truth. That's that true way. The Lord says straight is the way. Right? So let's go to verse 14. Right?
Come, verse 14. Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which
Mm-hmm.
leadeth unto life, and
Mm-hmm.
few there be that find it.
And what?
And few there be that find it.
Yeah, there's only going to be a few people that enter into that true way that actually leads to life. The Lord said, few that there be that find it. So you mean to tell me 2.6 billion people is a few people? That's a few amount of people. 2.6 billion. Right? How is that just a few? How is that a small amount of people? Right? You got to think about that. So if Christianity really is the way, if it's really the way that leads unto life, then why is it the most major religion in the entire world? Why? We need answers, man. You can't explain this. There's only going to be a few people that's actually on that right path. See, if let's ask the brother Yuanathon, right? So you want to when's the last
Con.
time you seen? When's the last time you seen a brother with fringes on, right? And he had his wife with him, right, with a dress and a hat wrap, and he came up to you and said Shalom, right? And you know what I'm saying? And is that a common occurrence? Do you see that on your day-to-day life? Or
Hey,
is that
la
very
ah.
like you know what I'm saying? Have you ever seen that? Right? In terms of not, in terms of not being in the camp and stuff and things of that nature, like the brothers
Y-
not in the camp.
I've seen that rarely.
Yeah,
Not a brother with his wife, and they keeping the commandments, but I seen a
right,
brother with fringes. Very rarely. Very rare
right,
for me to see that.
right. Mm-hmm. Very rare, right? You can take from the brother you want it done. Very rare. For me, that's very, very rare. All right. It's very rare for me that I will see an Israelite sister or brother, you know what I'm saying, with fringes on, keeping the commandments and saluting. You know what I'm saying? That's very,
Uh-huh.
very rare for me. Very rare for a lot of brothers. It's like, damn, who else is in the truth? I know a lot of brothers, it took them about 3 to 4 years to get in contact with anybody in the truth, that was around them. It took 3 to 4 years. Christians, you got Christians, you got churches everywhere. How do you guys feel alone? If you're a Christian, how can you feel alone? You're the most major religion in the world. You can't feel alone. You can't feel like, man, I'm on this hard path. How's Christianity the straight gate, right? Let's go to real quick. Let's go to Second Ezra's. Let's go to Second Ezra's chapter 7, right? And let's start verse 1,
Con.
right? Because
Spirit.
the Lord talks about this in Second Ezra's, but just in a different way, right? He kind of rephrases it through the Spirit. All right, so
Con.
let's get this real quick. Khan, you got it.
You want to start reading?
Yeah, Khan, you got it.
Okay, Con. It's the book of Second Ezra, chapter 7, and verse 1. And when I had
Um,
made an end of speaking these words, there was sent unto me the angel which had been sent unto me the night before. And he said unto me, Up, Esdras, and hear the words that I am come to tell thee. And I said, Speak on, my God. Then said he unto me, The sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great. But put the case, the entrance were narrow, and like a river.
uh-huh.
Who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? There is also another thing. A city is builded and is set upon a broad field, and is full of
Uh-huh.
all good things.
Right.
The
That
entrance
city,
thereof, go
it's a
Consalagi.
lot. I just want to make a point on that, Khan. A city is built. That's talking about the kingdom. All right. It's talking about the kingdom of heaven. It's talking about New Jerusalem. Right. A city is built and set upon a broad field, which is the world, pursuant to the book of Matthew chapter 13, and it's full of all good things, right? Going into peace,
Uh,
Second Ezra chapter 8, verse 52, right? Peace, tranquility, everlasting life, things of that nature, right? So let's go to verse 7. So the entrance to get to the kingdom, what does the Lord say? Let's go to verse 7.
verse 7. The entrance thereof is narrow,
If
and is
what?
set is narrow,
Nah, it's a walk in the park.
is narrow,
Nah, it's a piece of cake.
is narrow.
Nah, it's 2.6 billion of our members in the world.
And the Lord said is narrow.
It's narrow, man. It's narrow, meaning it's hard to get through. If you're trying to get through, let's say a opening, right? A very narrow opening. Hey, man, that's going to be hard to get through that. You're kind of going like this, and it feel like you're going to get smushed. You feel like you're going to get stuck. So if you're trying to get through an opening and it's very narrow, it's very narrow. A lot of people wouldn't even try to go through there. Oh no, I'm gonna get stuck in there. I don't even want to try. You know what I'm saying? So the Lord said the entrance thereof is narrow, right? Go ahead.
And is set in a dangerous place to fall,
Mm-hmm.
like as if there were a fire on the right hand, and on the
Mm-hmm.
left a deep water,
Go ahead.
and one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once.
Khan, meaning that you're by yourself in this truth, right? You're by yourself, meaning that you have to work out your own salvation. You can have brothers with you. You can have a rib. You know what I'm saying? You can have children, but your rib, your children, those brothers that you're with, your elders, anybody will not be able to save you, will not be able to give you salvation. The only man that's going to be able to give you salvation is Hamashiach Yahweh, as the Most High. You
God,
know, so that's why it says it's so small. There could but one man go there at once. So it's that's why it's going to feel like you're. I mean, we are on our own in this truth. Everybody has to work out their own salvation. Just because you're in the camp does not mean that you're going to be saved. You know what I'm saying? Just because,
God,
hey, I'm in the same camp as the mighty brother Naquan, man. WFI. You know what I'm saying? Well, who cares? The Most High doesn't care about that. The Most High cares about your personal spirit. The Lord said in Revelation 22 that He's going to give every man according to his own labor. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's saying that. But here's the thing. Let's go to verse 9, and then we'll start right. It will start right there.
Con. So like it. Verse number 9. If this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance,
Mm-hmm.
if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance?
Yeah, exactly. How can you receive the kingdom if you never go through that straight and narrow? And so we see Christians, they're not going through the straight and narrow right now, man. They're not going through the straight and narrow. They teach that the law is done away with. They teach, and so this is not all Christians, but this is a lot of Christians, right? Especially in America. They say, guess what? Come as you are. If you're gay, that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Hey, even the Pope, all right? The Pope, man. The Pope was like, hey, guess what the Pope said, man? There's a lot of things that this Pope said, right? That's ridiculous. He said that gay is okay, right? But he also said this. He said, hey, we all worship the same God, each to his own. We all worship the same God, right? Talking about these different religions. So you mean to tell me that somebody can get to the Most High without Yahweh? Right? So he's going off. How are
Yeah.
you even a Christian? How are you even a Christian if you say that we all worship the same God, man? So you guys don't know what the hell is going on, right? So you guys are not going through any type of affliction, right? Where is the mass persecution of the Christian church, man? Nobody cares about the Christian church, man. They teach love for everybody. You know what I'm saying? They teach against, racism and this and the third, and you know what I'm saying, even though they are racist themselves, right? But they teach this lovey dovey doctrine, right? Let's go down to the verse 12 real quick. All right, actually,
Con.
I want to get
Okay,
come.
con. Verse 12. Then
Uh-huh.
were the entrances of this world made narrow, full of
Right,
sorrow and travail,
right.
but they are but few and evil,
Uh-huh.
full of perils and very painful,
And what is this truth?
and very painful.
And very painful, man. This truth is painful, man. Right? This truth is painful. Waking up every day, you gotta fight Satan. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you gotta make sure you gotta fast. You gotta make sure that your rib is all right. You gotta make sure your children are all right. You know what I'm saying? You can't really enjoy the pleasures of this world like how your flesh would want to. This truth is painful, you know. And the brother is up literally almost 11 o'clock at night doing the live stream for the Most High. This truth is painful. You know what I'm saying?
Con.
But a lot of these Christians are not going through that straight and narrow because that's not the way. Christianity is not the way, all right, to life. Okay, it is not. A modern Christianity is not the way to life. All right, you guys have gone too far away from the doctrine. The early church fathers, they were still, it was a progression. When the apostles were on the earth, the 12 apostles, right, and the early church fathers, they were still on that right way. That's why they was persecuted. That's why they were hated in the world. You know what I'm saying? That's why they were actually putting in the work. And that's why you read in the letters like Paul, the Pauline epistles, even the epistles of Peter, even the epistles of John, and even the epistles of other apostles, they would talk about keeping the commandments, right? But as when you study the church history, and I haven't studied all of it, but when you do study it, it was a progression. Now you have in 2023 AD Christians talking about we all worship the same God, right? or come as you are. Or if you're a gay, that's all right. You know what I'm saying? Gay pastors nowadays didn't have that back in the ancient world, right? So yeah, this truth is very painful, man. But we're trying to go through that straight and narrow way. You know what I'm saying? We would rather go through that straight and narrow way than to join the broad way that leads to destruction, man. Because at least that we know if we're on that right way, that right path to the kingdom of heaven, and then we actually reach that destination, all praises to the Most High, right?
Con,
Let's get a quick precept on that real quick.
Con,
Let's
I
go
got
to
a precept as well, King.
that precept as well. Okay, Khan. Let me get mine, and then you got yours through the Spirit.
Okay, Con.
All right, Khan. This is a quick one, right? Let's go to Psalms chapter 120, 125. I think I want it. All
Okay.
right. Let's see if I wanted that right. Go to Psalm chapter 125. And it's like in Psalm chapter 126 and verse number 4. Right? Psalm chapter 126 and verse number 4.
Con. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 126 and verse 4. Turn again our captivity, O Lord, as the streams in the south.
Mm-hmm.
They that sow in tears shall reap in joy.
What the Lord say?
They that sow in tears shall reap in joy.
Yeah, so the Lord said, they that sow in tears shall weep in joy. Right? Go ahead.
Con. Verse 6. He that goeth forth and weepeth, bearing precious seed, shall doubtless come again with rejoicing, bringing his sheaves with him.
Yeah, Khan, exactly. The Lord said, if you go forth and weep, you're bearing that precious seed, you're going to come again rejoicing, bringing your seed, bringing your works with you, bringing your reaping your reward, essentially. So the Lord said, if you sow in tears, you're going to reap in joy, man. So that's really, saying the path we're trying to be on. But Khan, you got it, King, through the Spirit.
Con. Hey, that's right. I just got this precept real quick in the book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 17, just to show you that, like we're going into that narrow path. Not a lot of people are going to find this path, and
Yeah.
Con, this is the book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 17, says, and ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. So, I bring that out because when you go out and you hear these Christian pastors or Christian pastors in the streets teaching, everybody loves them because all they spread is love. They don't spread the truth, right? Now, we spread the love to our own people, but obviously we tell these other nations what's going on as well, and what they got, what their future is. But ultimately, we don't spread love to everybody. We don't spread love to the Edomites. We don't spread love to these other nations because we're only supposed to spread love to our nation, and that's why he said that we were going to be hated. And you go out, you go to somebody, an Israelite that's teaching the Bible, the truth, and people are going to hate that man because he's speaking the truth. That's how you know that we are on this narrow path. And I want to get one more precept in the book of 2 John real quick. 2 John chapter 1 and verse 4. It says, I rejoice greatly that I found of thy children walking in truth. So he said he rejoiced greatly. And when you rejoice greatly, that means you damn excited. You jump in the air, crying out loud and screaming. Hey, you rejoice greatly. Says that I found of thy children walking in truth. Because we don't see this often. If we were to see this often, then everybody around us would be wearing fringes. Every Jake and Eve around us would be wearing fringes, and the Eves would be wearing the dresses and not like tutors, wearing damn nothing but whatever, So that's why it's crazy that that we are walking in this narrow path, that the Lord made us walk in this narrow path. And that's how you know that not everybody's walking in that narrow path, because we rejoice greatly when we see somebody that's keeping the commandments and actually following after the truth. But Khan, you got it, Ken.
Khan, no, yeah, that's a mighty point. That's actually a mighty point, man, through the Spirit. All praise to the Most High. Yeah, with that, let's go to let me back what the brother was saying. Let's go to First Kings 18. Let's go to verse 22. Let's look at an example. One of the greatest prophets that ever walked the earth, according to Hamashiach Yahushua, in Matthew 11. But let's go to First Kings 18, and we can start verse 22. Man, let's see what Elijah, had to say about his ministry and how he was feeling through the Spirit.
Okay, Khan. This is the book of First Kings, chapter 18, verse 22. Then
Uh-huh.
said Elijah unto the people, I, even I only, remain a prophet of Yahweh, but
Right.
Baal's prophets are 450 men.
You see that? So what does he mean by that? Elijah was like, bruh, he's like, I feel like I'm the only one out here. He said, I
Right.
feel like I'm the only prophet of the Most High. I'm the only one that's remaining truthful to the Most High. I'm the only one that's putting in the work. You know what I'm saying? I'm the only one that's walking in my integrity out here. Everybody else is just following Baal. You know what I'm saying? And he said Baal's prophets, meaning Baal was a deity or a god that our people worshipped. It was really a heathen god where our people started worshiping it, right? And so, but he's saying Baal's prophets, right? Because you have prophets on the right hand side, you have prophets on the left hand side, right? So he said Baal's prophets are 450 men, and it could have been an actual 450, right? But it could also just been a number of completion. We can look at this precept on a spiritual level, and we can also perceive in the spirit that Baal's prophets will be who? Will be men that are prophets on the left hand side. So you can even look at some of these churches. They're Baal's prophets, right? You can look at some of these you know uh, 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 Muslims, right? They're Baal's prophets. They're teaching things that they ought not. They're teaching against the truth. You know, all these other false religions, Baal's prophets are 450 men. You know what I'm saying? It's also a spiritual number, right? It could mean number completion. You know, with that, let's go to Romans 7, or it's like your Romans. I think I want it chapter 11, and let's go to verse 3. I think I want it right because Paul even talks about this, right? So we feel like Elijah sometimes, man. We feel like Elijah sometimes, right? Because Elijah was like, look, man, I feel like I'm the only one in this truth. Sometimes you might feel like that, right? But Christians, how can you really feel like you're the only Christian out here, right? How can you really feel like that? You know, especially in certain countries like America, or the Americas, like when you look up, um, I believe I was looking at this as well. When you look up Christianity in terms of by population, I believe that said 95% of Mexico's population, so Issachar, identify as Christian. 95%, right? And southern other countries, other so-called Hispanic countries, it's in the 90s in terms of how many Christians there are, you know. So we see Israel having that zeal for the Most High, but it's not according to knowledge as well. But let's go to the book of Romans, chapter 11, verse number 3.
Khan. It's the book of Romans, chapter 11, and verse 3.
Right?
Lord, they have killed thy prophets and digged
Uh-huh.
down thine altars, and I am left alone, and they seek my life. But what saith the answer of God unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal.
Yeah, what does that 7,000 men represent? That's a number of completion. So even though you might feel like you're the only one in this truth, right? Like you go to your job, nobody's in the truth. You go, you know what I'm saying, to the store, nobody's in the truth. You don't know, right? It feels like you might be alone. Like, damn, bro, like nobody's really in this thing. You know what I'm saying? Like you go anywhere, really. You go to the DMV, you go to the gas station. Nobody's in the truth, man. Where's brothers with fringes on? And then when you do, and as a brother just brought out, when you do see brothers, you know what I'm saying, in the truth, or sisters in the truth, it's a very pleasing sight. It's a very rare sight. You know what I'm saying? But Christians seeing other Christians, you can go into a supermarket and see a Christian. You can go into a damn club and see a Christian.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It don't even matter really where you go. You're gonna find a Christian there. You know what I'm saying? With a cross on his neck, or whether you have a cross on it tatted on his neck or something like that, tatted on his
Uh-huh.
arm. You know what I'm saying? Like you're going to see a Christian, somewhere, especially in America, you know. But are you going to see a Hebrew Israelite? Ah, very unlikely. But it says, I have reserved to myself 7,000 men, meaning that, guess what? There's 7,000, when it says 7,000 men, that's not actual literal 7,000 men. Seven is the number of completion in the Bible. All right. Pursuant to the book of Matthew 18, verse 21 on down, Joshua 6 and verse 4, Leviticus 4 and 6, so and such other precepts, right? 7,000 men, seven is the number of completion. So what does that mean? It's a complete amount of brothers and sisters in this truth, right? Even though they may not be around your vicinity, or they may be, you don't know, right? You don't know, you never know, right? But they're there, all right? We're not alone, all right? We're not alone in this thing, even though we may feel like it. We're not alone, all right? The Lord said, though I be absent in the flesh, I'm with you in the spirit, Colossians 2 and
Uh-huh.
5, you know? So, but Khan, you had a point on that, King? Or preacher?
Nah, King, you got it.
Okay, all praises, right? So with that, let's go to Exodus 20. Let's like Exodus 23 and verse number 2. All right, let's go to Exodus 23 and verse 2, because even the law talks about this. Let's go to the law real quick. All right. The law talks about the multitude of people and how we should conduct ourselves in terms of this multitude, right?
Con. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 23, verse 2. Thou
Right.
shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt
Read
thou
it.
speak in a cause to decline after many to wrestle judgment.
Right, exactly. So like you read the first part again.
Con, Salakia. Uh, Exodus 23 and 2. Thou shalt
Mm-hmm.
not follow a multitude to do evil.
God, thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil. So the Lord already had it in his mind. That's why he put it out as a law. You cannot follow a multitude to do evil. He already knew what was in man. Hold that. Let's go to John chapter 2 and verse 23. Right? He already knows what's in man. Right? Let's go to
Con.
John. I think in John 2 and verse 23, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Yeah, Con, you can read it, King, if that's what I
Okay.
wanted.
Con, it's the book of John, chapter 2, verse 23.
Right?
Now, when he was in Jerusalem at the Passover in the feast day, many believed in
Uh,
his name when
right.
they saw the miracles which he did. But
Uh-huh.
Yahushua did not commit himself unto them, because he knew all men, and needed not that any should testify of man, for he knew what was in man.
He knew what was in man. You see that? He already knows what's in man's heart because he created everybody, right? So that's why the law, it's like the Lord put this law out here. The Lord already knew. It's like it already knows how our people conduct. They're like sheep, right? So one sheep follows it, sees another sheep, that sheep follows that sheep. So all these sheep are just following after each other. They don't even know where they're going. They're just going somewhere. I'm gonna just follow this sheep that's in front of me because he looks like he knows what he's doing. So I'm gonna just follow the multitude. The Lord said, "Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil." Right? Oh, you got people celebrating Christmas. Everybody celebrating Christmas. Your neighbor celebrating Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Your auntie, grandma. You know what I'm saying? Dad. Everybody celebrating Christmas. So I guess I should too. I don't want to be the odd one out. So I'm gonna follow this multitude to go commit evil, right? To go commit idolatry. Oh, everybody is doing this ritual. Okay, the washing of the hands or you know what I'm saying? When you go to certain places, oh, that's how y'all do it out here. So I'm gonna just follow this multitude to do evil, right?
Right.
Worship another god. You know what I'm saying? Oh, everybody bowing down to this idol. Oh, how you do that? Show me how you do that. Jake, what are you talking about, man? You don't follow a multitude to do evil, right? So the Lord already knew that the multitude, right? The multitude, it's always going to be this multitude of people doing evil. It's always going to be more wickedness than there is going to be righteousness until the kingdom come, right? This is true, all right? Especially in this day and age. It's always going to be more iniquity. It's always going to be more sin. It's always going to be more wicked doers than there are going to be righteous doers, because that's how it's been, right? That's how it's been throughout. I mean, literally almost all the books of the Bible. All
Con.
right, it's always been more wickedness than there has been righteousness. All right, because essentially the earth is given into the hand of the wicked right now, right? So it says you cannot follow multitudes of evil. So it's showing you right here that a lot of people are going to follow. It's like they're gonna there's going to be a multitude of people just being wicked together, right? Because they think that everybody else is doing it. Well, I should do it too. So that just adds on to the multitude. If that makes sense, right?
Con. I got a
Um,
precept too, King.
you got a pre-con. You can bring it up.
Con. Just like the brother saying about, what the Lord is saying about not following a multitude to do evil. Uh,
Yep.
I want to get this precept in the book of Matthew, chapter 15, and verse number 14. It says, let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind. And if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into a ditch. So Christianity's blind out here.
Mm,
You better off following a damn dog. Because if a dog sees danger, hey, what is that dog gonna do? Hey, it's for sure getting out that danger.
mm,
But if you following somebody that's blind, monkey see, monkey do, you just gonna get in, you're gonna get jammed up, like brothers say. And
mm,
we know Christianity has no kind of eyes to see and no ears to hear.
yep.
They pushing that, Baal's doctrine.
Mm-hmm.
So just a preset to go back to, the Exodus 23 and 2. But Khan, you got it, King.
Con, that's right. That's right, man. That's right. It be blind leaders of the blind, as Yahweh Shah, said, already has said through the spirit. Con, with that, let's go to um okay, Con Salaki, Exodus 32 and 1. Let's go to Exodus 2 and 32 and 1 as well. Let's get this account of Aaron, right?
Okay.
Uh,
Khan, it's the book of Exodus chapter 32, verse 1. And when
uh-huh.
the people saw that Moses delayed to come down out of the mount, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron and said unto him, up, make us gods which shall go before us. For as for this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we wot not what has become of him.
See that? So what's going on here is Moses is still upon the Mount Sinai, receiving the commandments, receiving visions, and all these things of the Most High. Aaron is with the people on, down, right, down out of the mount, or Salakia, yeah, down with the people, right. So Aaron, right now, you got to read between the lines. Aaron is being literally, what's it called? He's really being forced. He's being forced to make gods for the children of Israel. So you have all these Israelites, these thousands and thousands of Israelites. Remember, this is both kingdoms. So this is southern and northern kingdom, even before the split. So you got all these big old Jakes, you know what I'm saying? Jakes, they grabbing Aaron up, you know what I'm saying, make us gods, man, right? Make us gods. You already know how Jake is, right? Probably damn, you know what I'm saying, picking them up or what, I don't even know. I don't even know what our people, you know what I'm saying, could have done, cussing them out, right? So that's what our people, you know what I'm saying, would do, honestly. And so they're forcing Aaron to make a god for them, right? To make an idol for them, right? And they're saying we don't even know what the heck happened to this guy Moses. So make us gods, man. And as you can see, Aaron is what? He's outnumbered, right? Aaron is outnumbered. He's like, damn, I don't know what to do, right? He's outnumbered by all these thousands and thousands and thousands of Israelites. He's outnumbered. He's like, damn, I can't do any. I guess I'll just, you know what I'm saying, succumb because I'm outnumbered right now. I don't know what to do, you know? So we see here another instance in which the darkness prevailed over the light, because even though Aaron was that light, Aaron was, when I say light, I mean he was, he spoke the commandments. He was a high priest, right? He was supposed to enforce the law, right? But You know what I'm saying? This is another instance in which you had more wicked doers than you had righteous in this instance. And that wickedness, basically forced Aaron, right, to make that idol so they could go commit their wickedness, because they had the desire to
Uh,
worship another god, and through their desire they put forth their hand to do so, right? So yeah, that's another instance, right? Let's go to we're not going to read the whole account, so let's go to real quick through the spirit. I think I wanted uh with that, I think I wanted numbers, right? Or actually Salakia. Let's go to Sirach 46 and 8. Right. Let's go to
hey,
Sirach 46 and Salakia said
Salaki,
what?
can I get a precept on that?
Oh yeah, Khan. Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Okay, Khan. It's that account, man, about because what was happening in that time. They were Moses was up there, and what was going through through the mind of the Israelites was like, damn, why is he taking so long?
Yeah.
We need to get it going. And it's I want to get this precept real quick in the book of Second Ezra, chapter 5 and verse 1. Right? It
Khan.
says, nevertheless, as concerning the tokens, behold, the day shall come that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in a great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith.
Mm.
So, just like Ecclesiastes 1 and 9 and 3 and 15, what was, paraphrasing, what was back then, is now, what is, so forth. But the point is that the same thing is happening now. Woe to him that has lost patience. People they don't they're moving in haste, not knowing that we're supposed to be patient for the day of the Lord, but they're out here trying to find other gods. They out here literally
Right.
trying to look for something that's gonna save them, but Jake and Eve is too tied up with materialistic things that they make those their gods. They can make their BMW their god, their job their god, things that please
Mm-hmm.
their flesh, and that's just it's barren of faith. The land is barren of faith, you know. But yeah, I just
Yep.
wanted to make that point though, King. But you got it.
Yep. Nah, Khan. That's right though. That's right. Yep. Making all these things their gods, man. But yeah, let's go to Sirach 48 and 6. I think over there. Salakia, hold on. Sirach 46 and 8. Yep. Sirach
Okay,
46 and 8, right? Khan.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 46, and verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
And of 600,000 people on foot, they too were preserved to bring them into the heritage, even unto the land that floweth with milk and honey.
Right. So what is this talking about? The 600,000 people on foot, as you read in I believe that it was an account in Exodus. But these were the number of men that were actually in the wilderness, right? They were in the wilderness, but as you know, right, they got cut off. They couldn't enter into the inheritance. They couldn't enter into the promised land.
Promised land, come on.
It was only two, Caleb, right? Caleb and Joshua were the
And
only
Joshua,
two
come
men
on.
that were from that generation, right, that could enter into the promised land. Because the Lord said, look, all y'all 600,000 men, y'all are wicked. Y'all are not seeing it, man. The Lord said, I have sworn in my wrath, like you are not seeing the promised land. You know what I'm saying? So the Lord, even though these were and mind you, these are 600,000 mighty men. These are not just regular men, right? Or just weak and flimsy. These are men of war, right? As you read in Exodus, a lot of times they'll talk about how Israel was delivered, and they were ready for battle. You know what I'm saying? You will read that in Exodus and other books. They were ready for battle. You know what I'm saying? Mighty men, right? But the thing is, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 1. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 1. But even though you have this strength in numbers, right? Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verse 34. Even though you have the strength in numbers, you might be with your Akim, for example. man, look at our camp, man. We're 50 deep out here, man. Everybody saying Kwame Ashala, right? We're saying Kwame Ashala. And that's mighty though. That is mighty. Don't get me wrong. I love to be in a camp with 50 men. You know what I'm saying? 50 men, everybody, hey, we're bringing it out through the spirit. Hey, Kwame Ashala, brothers on the line, brothers reading through the spirit. That'll be a mighty thing. That'll be a mighty thing. But here's the thing. Just because you might have 50 people in the camp or things of that nature does not always mean that the Most High is really with that. All right, because the man wasn't with these 600,000 men. Brothers do not have 600,000 men in their congregation. Be honest. Brothers do not have that many people in their congregation. That's a lot of people. But even though there were 600,000 men on foot, and these were men of war and battle, and they were strong, the Lord wasn't with them. Right? Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verse
30.
Deuteronomy 1 and 34.
Oh, 34. Okay, come. It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1 and verse 34. And the Lord heard the voice of your words, and was wroth, and sware, saying, surely there shall not one of these men of this evil generation see that good land, which I swear to give unto your fathers.
Yeah,
Say,
the Lord said, look, I'm not with y'all, man. Said, all you men, yeah, you are good, ready for battle, but you guys are not seeing the good land. All right. So just because you have strength in numbers does not mean that, equates to just holiness and the Most High is with us. Not all the time. Sometimes, yes. But other times, no. And in case in point, we're really focusing this on Christianity, man. Y'all have 2.6 billion people in your religion. But that does not mean that the Most High is increasing that, man. That does not mean that. Hindus have a lot of people in their religion. Obviously, the Most High is not with Hinduism. You know? The Most High is not with Zionism, or the Most High is not with Buddhism. But you have a lot of people in that religion as well, or Islam. All right, let's go to verse Slakia. Let's keep going in that, King.
Verse 36. Save Caleb, the son of Jephthah, he shall see it, and to him will I give the land that he had trodden upon, and to his children, because he had wholly followed Yahweh.
Right. Let's go to Salakia. I just want to skip down real quick. Salakia. Let's go to verse 39. Let's go to verse 39.
39. Moreover, your little ones, which ye said should be a prey, and your children, which in that day had no knowledge between good and evil, they shall go in thither, and unto them will I give it, and they shall possess it. But as for you,
right,
turn you, and take your journey into the wilderness by the way of the Red Sea. Then ye answered and said unto me, we have sinned against Yahweh. We will go up and fight, according to all that Yahweh our God commanded us. And when ye had girded on every man his weapon of war, ye were ready to go up into the hill.
See
and
what
Yahweh
I'm saying?
said unto me,
Salakia.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Khan. No, I just want to make a point of that. You see what I'm saying, though, right? These are like I said, these are not regular men that could not see the promised land. These were men of war, right? These were men of war. It says when you had girded on every man his weapons of war, you were ready to go up into the hill. It was ready to fight. But what did the Lord say? All right, let's go to verse 42.
Verse 42. And Yahweh said unto me, say unto them, go not up, neither fight, for I am not among you, lest ye be smitten before your enemies.
The Lord said, I am not among you. Don't go up, man. I'm not with y'all. Yeah, y'all are a good, great multitude, but I'm not with you.
Man.
I'm actually with Caleb and Joshua. 2 men. All right. 2 out of 1,000. Right? That's a big difference. That's a big difference. So the point of the matter, why we got that precept, is because we're trying to show Israel, and we're trying to show Israel even outside of the truth, that just because you might have 2.6 billion people in your religion called Christianity, that does not mean anything, because the Lord is not within the Christian church, man. Most High is not increasing that, like I keep saying, right? The Lord said, if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. Second Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 3. And we're not bunching all Christians together. That's not what we're doing. We're saying within the religion of the Christian church, you have 2.6 billion followers of it. Is every follower going to be very, very devout? That's not what we're saying. But there are 2.6 billion people that identify as Christians, man. That identify with the religion called Christianity. You know? So, you know, that doesn't mean that the Most High is increasing that. That doesn't mean that the Most High is with that. All right. And somebody had commented in the chat to the spirit. I thought I was the only one who got excited when I see another Israelite actually has fringes on. Nah, that's everybody. For real.
Yeah.
I would say that's everybody. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, especially if you don't see it on a day-to-day like that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it's it's a blessing really to see another Israelite with fringes on, just on your day-to-day at the store or wherever the case may be, wherever you're at. I would speak for a lot of Israelites on that, in terms of how we feel.
Come
But
on.
Khan, all praise. Yeah. Let's go with that. Let's go to the book of let's go to the New Testament. All right. Well, actually, before that, let's go to Jeremiah 15 verse 17 before we go to the New Testament. Let's go to Jeremiah 15 and 17 through the Spirit. Let's see
Come
how Jeremiah was living. Right. Let's see how Jeremiah was living. Let's see if he had a lot of Akims with him. Right. A lot of Akims.
on. It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 15 and verse 17. I sat
Mm-hmm.
not in the assembly of the mockers, nor rejoiced. I sat alone because
I
of
said,
thy hand.
I said what?
I sat alone
No, I
because of
said with
thy
the
hand.
Akim.
I sat alone
Right.
because of thy hand, for
Uh
thou
huh.
hast filled me with indignation.
Hey, Jeremiah said, I sat alone. Right, because of thy hand. Where's the account of Jeremiah having a lot of Akims with him, man? He had the Akim Baruch, you had the Akim, you know what I'm saying? All these other Akims with him, right? There's no account of that. Jeremiah was going through it, man. Jeremiah was going through it when we read that book. He was going through it. He got put into a dungeon, you know what I'm saying? Almost died, right? He was put into a headlock, hey, all this other stuff. He was smote upon. He ran into his house, closed the door. He said, I'm not doing this anymore. But the fire that was in him, he just couldn't hold it anymore. And Jeremiah was going through it. He said, I sat alone. Even in Jeremiah 16, the Lord said, You will not have a wife nor children in this place. Straight like that. The Lord's like, you will not have a wife here. Right? Imagine the Lord just coming down to you. You're doing all the work of the Lord. You're prophesying, sweating, and you expect to get a wife, right? You expect to get, some type of reward. The Lord's like, look, you're not going to have a wife, though. Right? Like, damn. You know what I'm saying? So Jeremiah was going through it. But that's why Jeremiah, he's one of the elect, though. He's one of the 144,000. Guess what? Jeremiah, wherever he is back on the earth, if he is back on the earth to the spirit, and guess what? He has a very, very great reward ahead of him. You know what I'm saying? A very great reward. But essentially, Jeremiah, he was by himself, really. I mean, yeah, he did have Baruch the scribe with him, but you don't always read about Baruch with him. Sometimes he was alone, you know? And so that's what he's saying right here. He didn't sit in the assembly of the mockers and with the drunkards, right? With the sinners, right? With the you know what I'm saying, people of this world. And guess what? He sat alone because of the Most High's hand, right? Let's go to verse 18.
Come on, verse 18. Why is my pain perpetual and my
Mhm.
wound incurable, which refuseth to be healed? Wilt thou be altogether unto me as a liar, and as waters that fail?
Right. Why is my pain perpetual? You see that? Perpetual meaning never ending. My pain is never ending. That's what he's saying. And my wound incurable, which refuses to be healed. Right? Then so he was going through it, man. I don't ever hear a Christian saying, "Why is my pain perpetual?" Right? What type of pain are you going through for real? Right? So yeah. So with that, let's go to also another point as well. Let's go to Zechariah 13 and verse number 8. Okay, Zechariah 13, the classic, verse number 8. Right?
Con.
Because you have the prophecy about the 2/3, right?
Con, this book of Zechariah, chapter 13, verse 8. And it
Right.
shall come to pass that in all the land, said Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die. But
So
the
the Lord
third,
said, "Oh,
Salaki.
Salaki, God, 2/3 shall be cut off and die." So 2/3, what does that equate to? 2/3 equates to 66.6% roughly, right? If you want to round it up, then it's 66.7%, right? So 2/3, you have a pie, you cut it up into 3 pieces. 2 of those pieces are gone. Obviously, in all cases, those 2 pieces, right, are going to be bigger, right? They're going to be bigger because it's 2 more pieces, right? So obviously they're going to be bigger than that 1 piece that's left alone, right? We look at numbers wise. So you have 2/3, that's 66.6%, right? And let's read verse 9.
Con, verse number 9. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and
Right.
will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, Yahweh is my God.
So the Lord said that you're still going to have that 1/3 that he's going to put through the fire. That 1/3 is talking about 33.3% roughly. All right. And obviously 33 is lower in value than 66. Right. It's obviously. So you're always going to have that 1/3. You're always going to have that 2/3. 2/3 of people that's not, what I'm saying, following the ways of the Most High. So what does that show you? 1/3 will always be less than 2/3. This is always true, right? This is always true. 1/3 is always less than 2/3. So it's always showing you that, and if this is a prophecy in this day and age, there's always going to be more wickedness than there's going to be righteousness until the kingdom comes, man. Until righteousness flows like a branch, as the Lord says. Until the Most High establishes this world in righteousness and in equity, right? And in true holiness. We're showing to the book of 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter. Well, until that happens, it's going to be wickedness, right? The wickedness is going to outweigh the righteousness. And so if your religion has 2.6 billion people in the earth, obviously that's not the way, right? Obviously, man. Because it's this grand mass of people. All right. We're seeing these prophecies. We're seeing these prophecies about how it's really going to be a remnant. When you go to Isaiah 10, right? You go to Isaiah 10 and in verse 22 on down, the Lord says, though Israel be as the sand of the sea, a remnant shall return. Right. So even though, yeah, Israel is like it's the sand of the sea, but it's only going to be a remnant that returns back unto Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. Remnant meaning a remainder out of that number, a small amount out of that number, right? Khan, yeah, the precept on that.
Oh no, Con, I was just saying a small portion, Con.
Yeah, Khan, exactly, a small portion out of that big portion, right? So there's always going to be that remnant. You know what I'm saying? It's always going to be that small amount of people that's following Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. It's never going to be the majority, right? It's never going to be. It's all right. I'm not going to say never, right? But it's highly unlikely that it will be the majority, as we don't see that in the scriptures, right? We don't see that in the scriptures. How the majority of people in the world is following Yahweh Shah wholeheartedly, it's always a few select people, right? The 144,000 is literally only 144,000 out of 8 billion people on the earth. That's still a small amount compared to 8 billion people on the earth, right? So it's, I mean, what else can we say on that, right? What else can we say to that? Lord willing, that makes sense. So, with that, let's go to the New Testament. Let's go to the book of Acts, chapter 19, verse 27, right? Well, actually, before we go there, let's go to 1 Peter 4 and 18. Right, let's go to 1 Peter 4 and 18. Let's hit this preacher real quick. Right, Lord willing, that makes sense. And we're just going to get a few more precepts. We're going to close up.
Come on. This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 4 and verse 18. And
right.
if the righteous scarcely be saved,
it's going to be
constantly.
So it's going to be 2.6 billion people that's going to be saved, Doc.
La.
Wait, Slack, read it one more time.
God. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 18. And if the righteous scarcely be saved,
right,
where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear?
So even if the righteous are scarcely going to be saved, I mean, it's not going to be a lot of people to be saved, for real. It's not going to be a lot, right? It's not going to be it's not going to be 1/3 of the world's population, right? It's not going to be 2.6 billion people. Now, the Lord can do what he wants, right? Not saying that the Lord can't do that. But what we read in the Bible does not say that the majority is going to be saved. It does not say that the most major religion in the world and the people that follow it is going to be saved. No, the Lord did not say that. Right? Instead, he says that the righteous are scarcely going to be saved. If they're barely going to make it out of here, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? All right. If they can barely get it out of here, if they are barely going to be saved, right? Let's with that, let's go to the book of Acts 19 verse 27. Right.
It's the book of Acts chapter 19 and verse 27.
Mm-hmm.
So that not only this our craft is in danger to be set at naught, but also that the temple of the great goddess Diana should be despised, and her magnificence should be destroyed, whom all Asia and the world worshipeth.
And the who worshipeth?
Whom all Asia and the world worshipeth.
So you see that? Because we know that this world lieth in wickedness. Let's get that real quick. Let's hold that. Let's go to the book of 1 John 5 and verse number, I think I went at 19, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 19, right? Let's go to 1 John 5, 19, right?
It's the book of John. Like what happened?
No, you got it.
Okay, this is the book of 1 John chapter 5 verse 19. And we know that we are of God, and the whole world lieth in wickedness.
Wait, man, read that again, man. Read that again.
1 John chapter 5 and verse 19. And we know that we are of God, and the whole world lieth in wickedness.
The whole world lieth in wickedness, man. The Lord said the whole world lies in wickedness, right? Not just a little bit, or like, hey, everybody worships the same God, each to his own, right? No, the whole world lies in wickedness. But guess what, Christians? Y'all are the whole world. Y'all are the largest religion in the earth, right? So how does that make sense? How does that make sense? Now, some people might give the argument, well, this is before, Christianity was a major religion in the earth. Okay, well, yeah, that's a good point. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. We know that we are the Most High and the whole world lies in wickedness. The Lord always says that there's going to be, it's like the Lord said that the iniquity shall abound because the love of many shall wax cold. So how can Christianity be the major religion in the earth, and the same is true for iniquity arising, right? Each second, iniquity is arising more and more and more. And we see Christianity was arising at that same pace, right? We're at that same type of level. if that makes sense. So it just doesn't make sense, man. It just doesn't make sense in terms of saying that. Guess what, man? Um, or in terms of saying just because Christianity, we got all these members in our church, right? You see the mass amount of congregation. They always pan the camera with these congregations, these reverends. Joel Osteen, his stadium is packed out, man. You got people on this side, people on that side. You gotta get the ultra microphone because the stadium is just so big. You know what I'm saying? And they really think that I know people are in there thinking, they're looking around, they're like, Jesus is all praises to Jesus, man. Look at how many Christians there are. This must be the truth. I know they're thinking that. Man. Right? But the Bible says the opposite. The Bible says that the whole world lies in wickedness, man. Right? So when we go back, and the reason why I pulled that, when we go back to Acts 19:27, we're seeing how, and like I said, let's go to Ecclesiastes or Slack. We don't have to get it, right? I'll just get it on the side. This is
Right.
Ecclesiastes 3 and verse number 15. Ecclesiastes 3 and 15. The Lord says, that which have been is now, and that which is to be have already been, and God requires that which is past. So the Most High requires that which is past. If this happened in the past, in terms of Acts 19 and 27, guess what is happening now, right? It's happening now. The whole world is worshiping certain deities, certain gods. You have a whole bunch of people worshiping Buddha. I've seen it. All right. I'm literally in Asia right now. I've seen it, man. The
Yeah.
idols, temples everywhere, everywhere. People bowing down unto Buddha, people bowing down unto these certain deities, man. Right? You have who does the whole world worship right now? American white Jesus, man.
He's
All right.
Borgia.
Caesar Borgia. That they bow down to him. They bow down unto his image, his actual, physical image, and also what he represents. You know what I'm saying? Homosexuality, do as you will, love everybody doctrine. They don't even
Come
know what
on,
love is
Lord.
for real, right? Yeah, come on. You know, hey, Caesar Borgia says, "Come as you are." You know what I'm saying? Oh, you want to be a female pastor? You can be a female pastor. Yeah, sure. Just do what you want. That's his spirit. That's like a Babylonian American spirit. I mean, just do what you want. Yeah. Just do whatever makes you feel good. Yeah. Just do it. Just do what you want. Right? That's Caesar Borgia. Everybody worships that God in this world. Right? So you got the same type of spirits on the earth. All right, you got the same type of spirits on the earth. That makes sense. All right. Let's go to with that, let's go to the book of First John, right, chapter 3 and verse number 12. Right, let's go to First John chapter 2, verse 12. Right.
Con.
I just want to close it out soon. So yeah. First John 2 and 12.
Con. It's the book of First John, chapter 2 and verse 12. I
Uh,
write unto you, little children, because your sins are forgiven you for his name's sake.
right.
I write unto you, fathers, because ye have known him that is from the beginning.
Oh,
I
Salaki.
write unto you. Shalaki, can go ahead.
Oh, Salaki. I actually wanted First John 3. Salaki, First John
Oh,
3,
3.
verse 12.
Okay, Con.
Con,
First John, chapter
12.
3 and verse 12.
Uh-huh.
Not as Cain, who was of that wicked one, and slew his brother. And wherefore slew he him? Because his own works were evil, and his brother's righteous.
You see that? Now let's go to verse 13.
Marvel not, my brethren, if the world hates you.
If the
We
world
know,
hates
it's like,
you, right? Oh, Salaki. Yeah, if the world hates you. Now, what does he mean by world? When he says the whole world lieth in wickedness, is he really talking about every single person? Well, that would then, I mean, isn't he part of the world in terms of, I mean, he lives in the world, right? Right. Doesn't John the apostle live? Didn't he live on the earth? Right. So when he says the whole world lieth in wickedness, we have to understand what he's trying to say. He's saying the majority of people in the world, they live in wickedness. That's what he's saying, right? when he says if the world hates you, he's talking about the majority of people that's outside of this truth, because we're always going to be outnumbered. All right, in this truth, we're always going to be outnumbered. So it says the majority of people that's outside of this truth, they're going to hate you, but don't marvel at that. And that's why the world is called the world, because we're always going to be outnumbered. The world, remember, world meaning a group and collection of people, right? So when he says the whole world lies in wickedness, he's talking about the majority of people that's in the earth right now are going to hate you. They lie in wickedness. John 16 verses 1 on down, Yahweh Shah talks about that persecution of the saints. But essentially, that's, not trying to get too deep into that, but it's just talking about, it's just showing you the wordplay here. If you are the major religion in the world, then who cares if the world, I mean, you, like I said, you are the world. If you're the major religion in the world, you are the world. You can, I mean, if that makes sense, like how does the world hate you? You're such a big part of the world. You know what I'm saying? So it just doesn't make any sense, man. Right? Just doesn't make any sense.
Come on.
Okay. And it only makes sense when you are outnumbered, right? You barely see anybody in the truth. You're in that straight and that narrow way. Okay. And you're not the major religion that's in the earth. All right. I think I wanted one more precept on that. Let's go to the book of First Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 10.
Come
I think
on.
I did. This is what I wanted. First Maccabees 3, verse 10 to the spirit. Right? Let's
Come
get an
on.
encounter.
It's like you
Because
said.
it's like it. We always read in the Maccabees how the Maccabees were outnumbered plenty of times. Guess what? They still won. Right? They still won. But a lot of carnal men would think, and when they would see these armies compassed about, and they would see their numbers, right? They would see how many men they have with them. These elephants, they got thousands of horses, horsemen, they got chariots, they got footmen, bandermen. They have all these men with them. Oh man, I don't know. I don't know. We can't fight against them. We're not going to win. Look at how many people we have. Look how many people we have, right? It's like, look how many people they have, and look how many people we have. We're not going to win. A lot of men, they think like that. I mean, it's normal. It's carnal, right? It's a carnal type of mindset. But Judas, he remained spiritual during all his battles, right? Let's go to First Maccabees 3 and verse 10.
Come on. It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
Then, how you said it? Apollonius?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I believe so. Kind of.
Okay. Then Apollonius gathered the Gentiles together in a great host out of Samaria to fight against Israel. Which thing, when Judas perceived, he went forth to meet him, and he smote him and slew him. Many also fell down slain, but the rest fled.
Mm-hmm.
Wherefore Judas took their spoils, and Apollonius' sword also, and therewith he fought all his life long. Now when Saron, the
Let's
prince,
skip down.
okay,
Salakia. We're going to skip down. We're going to skip down to verse number 15.
come on,
Salakia.
verse number 15. So he made him ready to go up, and there went with him a mighty host of the ungodly to help him, and to be avenged of the children of Israel.
So an ungodly host, a mighty ungodly host, right? Let's go. Let's keep it going.
Come, verse 16. And when he came near to the going up of Beth Horon, Judas went forth to meet him with a small company.
Now
Who,
with
when they
thousands and
saw,
thousands and thousands of men,
with a
with billions of
small
men.
company,
With just billions of men with them.
with a small company.
Small company. You see that? And let's go to verse 17. Small company only. Just small amount of brothers, right?
Verse 17. Who, when they saw the host coming to meet them, said unto Judas, how shall we be able, being so few, to fight against so great a multitude and so strong, seeing we are ready to faint with fasting all this day?
So you see what he's saying? He's saying, how shall we be able being so few, man? That might be the mindset of certain, people. Like how are we going to prevail? I mean, man, there's barely anybody out here, man. Or in my camp, we only got 3 men. But hey, guess what, brother? Mosai, he can still support your camp, just because your camp may have like 5 brothers. You know what I'm saying? Hey, all praises. We would rather have 5 genuine brothers that want to do this work, actually care about the Most High, than to have 100 brothers, and they're in, at the first sign of affliction, they just flee, or they're not really down for the Most High like that. You know what I'm saying? They're not really down for this. We don't want the men that just don't really care. It's better to have 5 solid men, than to have just 100 just yes men, and they don't really are about this thing. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to verse 18.
Verse 18. Unto whom Judas answered, it is no hard matter for many to be shut up in the hands of a few. And with the God of heaven, it is all one, to deliver with a great multitude or a small company.
So the Lord said, it's like with the Most High, it's all one, to deliver with a great multitude or a small company. It doesn't matter how many men you have with you. The victory does not come from how many horses you have, how many chariots you have. The victory does not come about even how much strength you guys, or how much you can bench press, right? If you can throw up 300 or you can throw up 225 only. Hey, it doesn't matter. Where does the victory come from? Let's read verse 19.
Verse 19. For the victory of battle standeth not in the multitude of an host, but
Right?
strength cometh from heaven.
Comes from where?
But strength cometh from heaven.
Strength comes from heaven, man. The battle, the victory is all decided by the Most High. The strength comes from the Most High, right? And Judas, he understood that. So it doesn't matter, necessarily about how many people might be in your camp, or even in terms of the congregation and things of that nature, right? The Most High can still be within that camp. The Most High, Judas Maccabees, they didn't have a lot of men with them. They didn't have as much as these other nations did, the Arabians or the Edomites and things of that nature. But they still won. The Lord was still with them. So, we gotta just put off that illusion that more is always better. Like, oh, yeah, we got more Akim, more Akim, more Akim. That doesn't always mean that the Most High is really with that person, or, with that particular camp. We're not putting out any camp or anything like that. We're just reading the precepts. And like I said, this video is really triggered towards the church. All right. Just because Joel Osteen has all these members in this church, we know definitely the Most High not in there. We know definitely the Most High not with what's his name? Damn, who IYC pulled up. I keep forgetting his name. But a lot of these pastors out here, TD Jakes, Creflo Dollar, right? All these Jakes out here that have these massive congregations, the Most High is definitely not in there. But a lot of them think that because so many people in this congregation that the Most High must be with us. No, that's not true. That's not true. As we can see, even in these precepts. All right. So with that, all praises to the Most High. You had anything else on that, King?
La, King.
La. Okay, Khan. All praises to the Most High. Right. So with that, that's really what I want to bring out. Let's see here. Yeah, that's really what I want to bring out through the Spirit. We can at this time we can bring out closing precepts to the Spirit. And Khan, Shabbat Shalom. So everybody that's watching the video, praise to the Most High. Right. So yeah, you can bring out your closing precept to the Spirit up.
Okay. All
Yeah.
praises. This is the book of I want to get this in the book of First Maccabees, chapter 2 and verse 50. It says, now therefore, my sons, be ye zealous for the law, and give your lives for the covenant of your fathers. So, we got to be zealous for the law of the Most High. That way the Most High can show us these different things, whether it be one thing, whether it be two, whether it be three, we gotta constantly be zealous for the law, for gathering with the brothers and with the sisters, and for wanting to receive everlasting life and joy. So let's continue to be zealous for the law and repent, keep the commandments, pray, fast, study, read, do everything you can to abound and increase in His knowledge. But with that, all praise to the Most High.
Khan. Mighty words of exhortation and all praises. Khan. I want to get this precept through the spirit. First, Slaki, First John, chapter 4, and verse 5. It says, "They are of the world, therefore speak they of the world, and the world heareth them. We are of God. He that knoweth God heareth us. He that is not of the Most High heareth not us. Hereby know we the spirit of truth and the spirit of error." So the Lord said that they're of the world. So they're going to speak of the world. And the world is going to hear them. Right? That's why, I was saying to, one of my brothers, like, guess what, man? The reason why, you have a lot of these people, they, blocking our stuff and shadow banning us and banning us from certain things, taking down our channels and things like that. And even people that's not even in the truth, but they're exposing a lot of the lies that's in this world. Even the media is blocking them, right? Even the media is blocking them. They're not even in this truth. But everybody that wants to put out some truth out there, they're always going to try to take it out. They're always going to try to take it away, right? Because they don't want the truth to come up. But nevertheless, the Lord said, "They are of the world, therefore speak they of the world, and the world hears them." Reason why a lot of people don't hear us. We teach so many, brothers, we teach so many sisters through the spirit, and people just don't hear us, man. They throw it over the shoulder, like Sirach 21 says. They throw it over the shoulder, right? They want to rebel against it. They want to shoot us. Jake said Jake said, "I got 100 rounds for y'all. 100 rounds for y'all." All we saying is that Christ looked like you, brother. That's all we saying, right? And you want to shoot us because of that. So, everybody hates the truth, man. And so, but guess what? If we were speaking some other doctrine, right? Doctrine of the world. If we were saying everybody, love is love, everybody would embrace us with hugs and kisses, right? But because we're not with that, because we're trying to stand up for Yahweh Shem Yahushua, guess what? They want to shadow ban us. They want to take down our channels, and they want to fight against us, man. So, but it's all good at the end of the day. Because like I said, like how we brought out that precept before in Psalms chapter 126 and verse 5, they that sow in tears shall reap in joy. All right. So if we're really on that straight and narrow path, we got nothing to worry about. Because at the end, if we make it to the end through the Spirit, Lord willing, it's going to be that kingdom. It's going to be that city that's set upon the broad field and full of good things. All right. So with that, all praises to the Most High God, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. The water for tuning in. Shabbat Shalom. Hey, Kwame Yasha'Allah. This is Brother Yasha'Allah.
Brother Yuanathon.
Come back to yet another video through the Spirit Power Yahweh Mashiach Yahweh Shalom. We're willing, this is edifying. Shalom.
Shalom. Kwame Yasha'Allah.